Today we are testing out the 24-70 f2.8 Mark II version. The Mark I is actually on the camera we're filming, so you and I are going to just do a bit of swapping, aren't we?
That's right, we're going to swap, we're going to compare, we're going to test. As you said, I am financially invested on your 70 to 180 video, so I'm financially invested in checking this lens out because I've got the Mark I version, and I want to know if the Mark II is actually worth the money because I already have a good lens.
Yeah.
Do I need to pay more to get a better one?
Yeah, we're gonna go and check it out and we'll show you the results as we go along.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
And we found the roof.
Hi, here we are.
So Bex, tell me what you're thinking about this lens so far.
It's super fast. Focusing is like speedy, just like that, even in very low light situations. We've been roaming through the historic halls of Knoll House and it's very, very dark inside. Obviously, light has to be kept super low to preserve all the paintings and the furnishings. Been keeping it down at 1000 ISO and shooting at about 50th of a second at f2.8 and just praying. But the focusing hasn't struggled once, so that's good.
So I have a question for you, Becky.
Yeah.
So for you, it's more important what age of this building is than having a lens hood on a lens?
Listen, I have lens hoods on everything today, all right?
I was in charge of it. Let's talk about build quality a little bit. The build quality is actually fantastic. It's the top of the range professional lens and it's built as such. Everything feels smooth. You've got focusing ring, zoom ring, you've got aperture ring or any function ring. It could be clickable as well with a little switch here, so when I turn it on, it's gonna feel like your standard kind of aperture ring back in the day. But if you want to assign it to something else, then you can just make it clickless. You've got two functions button as well. You've got a really nice lens with a little window on it. And
do you know what the window's for?
No, but what I can tell you is I'm using it and Becky just threw hers away. So, well, generally, let's say, first of all, you can check your filter, see if it's dusty or not. No, actually, if you've got like circle polarizing filter, you've got ND filters on it, you actually see the numbers. So that's quite useful as well.
But you can close the window.
You can. You know, It's like on the plane. You know, if you want to sleep, you just close it down, you know. But overall, the build quality is good. Obviously, it is internal zoom. And that is kind of the game changer for a lot of people. Professional lens, why do we need internal zoom? Well, it will suck the less dust in, first of all. So better weather ceilings, you know, but also the way the lens is designed is because you've got internal zoom, the lens, when you zoom in as well, doesn't actually shift. It's also designed as such, so it can be used on the gimbal for video work, and you don't need to recalibrate your gimbal, let's say if you want to shoot on 24 or 70mm focal distances.
All right, one thing that we're gonna do is actually test the sharpness and the bokeh rendering between the two lenses. Obviously, you're currently filming on the Mark I version and the Mark II is here. So I'm gonna do some shots of you.
Me?
You. And then we're gonna see what it looks like. Let's just see how we do. You're gonna have to look at me though. Yeah, it's not gonna work if you don't. Okay, that's 2.8. Okay, now we're gonna do f4. So far, very pleasing. 5.6, and let's do an f8 just for fun. All right, first thing I will say is there's a little bit of vignetting at 2.8, which we would expect, but it is nice. It's actually a really pleasing look. So we're gonna have to swap lenses, which means you're gonna have to cut this video, and then I'll do another set.
I am filming on the new 24-70 millimeter lens, so you can just compare for yourself while Becky is taking shots of me.
Okay, good. So look at me. Lovely. And then we're going to do f4. Is that your best side? Can you pull a normal face? Thank you. And then 5.6. One of the things that I find really interesting from those tests that we've just done is that the newer lens has a slightly warmer tone even when set at the same white balance. So I didn't change any of the settings. I literally just swapped the lenses around, and the older lens is a fraction cooler than the newer lens, the Mark II version. I don't know if that's down to coatings or the change in the actual element design, but it is good to know. Honestly, if you're shooting in RAW, you can adjust your white balance afterwards if you need to. It's not a major deal breaker. It's just interesting that it makes that much difference with two basically the same lenses on the same camera. The other thing I will say is that the newer lens has slightly more noticeable vignetting than the older lens, but not in a way that's displeasing. The bokeh is still very nice on both. That extra couple of diaphragm blades on the older lens doesn't seem to make that much difference in real life terms, but you can look at the shots and tell me what you think. Do you agree?
All right, let's compare the two lenses a little bit. Obviously, both lenses are 24-70, both of them 2.8, both of them Z mount, so we've done all this. Weight-wise, the new lens is about 130 grams lighter because it's 675 grams versus 805 grams on the older one.
That's quite a difference.
It is, yes, and to be honest with you, like on a daily use like this, or let's say event use, when you carry your camera all the time, you will feel it, and definitely your hand and your shoulder will thank you for this. So, in my opinion, that's definitely a winner. The downside, what I don't particularly like on this, and we'll compare it later on, but actually if you're looking at amount of diaphragm blades, the old lens has 11 diaphragm blades and the new one has 9. So technically it should tell us that the older lens should have a better, more bokeh, more rounded one, if you see what I mean. So we're gonna compare this, because on paper, it's a bit of a downer. Now let's talk about engines of this lens. Just like cars, each autofocus lens has its own motor. So the new lens has a silky swift silky swift voice coil motor, whatever that means. And the older one has step-in motor. So technically, I guess the new one has a bit more horsepower, yeah?
Yeah.
How many horses do you think they put inside this lens, baby?
At least 3 small Shetland ponies.
Yeah, and a tail?
And a tail.
Sounds good. In the real world, I would say that yes, autofocus feels a little bit smoother and a little bit faster on the new lens compared to the old one. But the old one is definitely no slouch. It's super good. And to be honest with you, I'm still using the old one and I've done events with it and it's absolutely fantastic. But yes, the new one is a little bit better. Becky is very excited to take a brick wall test.
I am.
Of this medieval brick wall.
Yeah,
what does brick wall tell you?
The brick wall tells me that, okay, the lens is sharp, edge to edge. Even at f2.8, it's very impressive. But you do get that vignetting, which is noticeable at f2.8, and it does go by about f4. Mm-hmm. It's funny because f8, it isn't necessarily, like a lot of people just shoot at f8 on their lens and they're like, that is the perfect thing. I would actually say that the perfect aperture is probably closer to 4 or 5.6 on this one. It's doing some funny things at f8, but that might just be me.
All right, here we are hiding from the wind, but finally we can show you both lenses in our hands because we are filming on 24-70 f4. But let's talk about who is this lens for, first of all, and the second of all, if you already have one like me, would you upgrade?
Okay, well, first of all, I would say that this lens is for professional photographers and those who are, let's say, more serious than others, who need the f2.8, who are maybe doing events or weddings or even kind of commercial portrait and a bit of everything.
Yeah, so 24-70 2.8, this is the lens to get regardless of it's one of those lenses or F-mount Nikon 24-70. However, if you are buying one now, the best one on the market would be the Mark II.
This one?
The Roman II, 24-70 2.8. But I've got one already.
Yeah, so let me ask you, would you upgrade at this point?
Well, to be honest with you, Becky, it's like if you got an iPhone from last year and the new one comes out, is it worth trading one in and upgrading to a new one? From image quality, yes, you still get the best lens on the market and everything, but at the same time, if you trade in your lens, you're going to lose quite a bit of money on your old lens compared to the new one. So am I afraid to lose half of the value of this lens and pay additional half to get this lens? Yes, I am, because at the end of the day, this lens probably will do about 90-95% what the new version does. And I don't do video. If you are doing video, especially on the gimbal, the Mark II version is definitely, that's where you'll see a huge upgrade. If you do a lot of video as well, autofocus is going to be a little bit smoother. The transition between, let's say, foreground and rear ground is going to be a little bit smoother. But this Mark I version was used for commercial work, for a lot of event photography by me, and it did really, really well. It's done, in my opinion, better than F-mount version, and I had 2870 2.8, 2470 2.8G, 2470 2.8E.
Yeah, you've had all of the versions, basically.
Exactly.
So as someone who has used all of them and has now had a bit of experience with the Mark II, do you think this is the best out of every single one?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you can get it on one of those winter savings that we have right now. But I would say yes, if you don't have this lens and you have the budget for it, definitely get this one. However, if you want value for money, then probably Mark I version second-hand is going to be a great choice, because quite a few people traded theirs once in to buy a new one, so you can get the Mark I version at a discount.
Exactly. Honestly, if you are using the lens day in, day out, from morning to night on most of your shoots, that extra 200 grams of weight saving also makes quite a difference. And I know a number of our viewers who did do the upgrade from the Mark I to the Mark II and are absolutely swearing by this lens. So if you feel that it's the right fit for you, to do the change makes total sense. If you're doing maybe less frequent events, weddings, etc., and you've got the Mark I, then you might want to stick with that. But the weight saving does make a difference, and I've been walking around with that all day and I'm not complaining about it, which is impressive.
So we just filmed the whole review, but we forgot the most important thing is how good this lens is for macro photography. And it wouldn't be Becky without finding mushrooms everywhere.
It's very important that you know that I can shoot macro with any lens. And there you have it, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe.
Yeah, if you found this video useful or even super useful, the super thanks button as well, hit it if you can.
And if you have any thoughts and feelings on this lens, please include them in the comments below.
And you heard our feelings in this video.
You did.
I feel feelings.
I feel so many feelings.